Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Real Sky. I'm Dr. Danny. Let me know if you can hear my voice. We are at the lake house still. It has been such an exciting journey the last couple of weeks. Like, it's only been 8 days or 9 days since we talked. And I feel like it's been a month. So excited to be here for all of you. I have such a great show for you today. We are going to examine Venus, Saturn, and Neptune. The reason I wanted to do this live stream and talk about this particular subject was because as I was scrolling through social media over the course of this week, I noticed that many astrologers were saying, oh goodness, Venus is going into Aries. It should be very exciting. And you guys know I love Venus. Y'all know I follow Venus. You know, I know exactly where she is every single day when she's moving in and out of her constellations. And so I check, y'all, and Venus is nowhere near Aries, but she is conjunct the equinox point. So I thought today would be an excellent opportunity to ask ourselves questions about where the planets are, what is important when we are analyzing them. Is it just their, position in the sky? Is it just the angles between one another? Or do the stars behind it actually matter? And when we use tropical astrology, for that matter, does the calendar, the Gregorian solar calendar for the northern hemisphere, matter to Venus and also to the outer planets of Saturn and Neptune? So we're going to look at all of that today. And then stick around towards the end, because if you know where Pisces is for you, if you know where this conjunction of Saturn, Neptune, and Venus are happening for you, like, in other words, my Pisces is in my 10th house. Where is your Pisces? Right? So if you know where that is, I'm going to give you a short reading on how to feel into this energy. So it's really, really exciting. A couple of announcements. Prometheus Capricorn is back and running. For those of you that are new to this kind of astrology, it's a great software program that you can install on your computer for, I think it's about $100 or $200. And it's really great. It's very adaptive. So if you wanted to use, research things like the Phoenix angle, or do change your charts in ways so that you can see certain things. It has a lot of adaptability, and that is available at the ISAA. Those of you that did the first 2 rounds of Stellar Foundations with me, you did purchase that software. So the new distributors have your information. So if anything happens to Prometheus or you didn't get it set up, they have the support, and they've got the software now available. So please check that out. Also, you can use True Sky. That's Athen used to distribute Capricorn Prometheus, and now he developed his own software that is web-based, but that's a subscription. So it just depends if you want something on your local computer, if you want something that you pay for. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what else. I've been working a lot this week. I got the new moon video completed for March 18th. So this next new moon that's coming, I've named it the Magician's Moon for a lot of reasons, but the members have it already. So if you're a member, go enjoy that video. And it's by your rising sign too. There's longer readings. They're like 5 to 6 minutes long. So go check that out. All right. Very cool. How's everybody doing? Are you guys feeling okay since the eclipse? Anything strange going on with you? I just feel like it's just been busy and time's going by really fast. I can't even keep up. I feel like I'm just juggling a bunch of balls in the air. But I thrive that way. I actually like it. And here in Southeast Texas, it is pine pollen season already. So I am literally having some hay fever symptoms, but the hardest part is not being able to sleep. And I was able to sleep a little bit last night. I got up around 3:30 in the morning, and I started to work on this presentation. And then I did a reading, and then I slept for a little bit. And so now we're here, and we're going to do this. So Restream's changed some of their settings in here, and I can see you guys in the chat. Let's see who's here. Let's say hello to everybody. Wild Ivory, is today your birthday? Happy solar return. 318, I like that. Oh my gosh, Lori, I'm so sorry. Wow. Yeah, when chaos happens, it's a great opportunity to get sick. So some of the things I do to stay completely healthy is to make sure that I'm well rested, and I also take wellness days. Like I literally set aside time in my future calendar for days that I don't talk to you guys, for days that I don't talk to patients, for days that I can just do whatever I want. So if you have the ability to do that, definitely do that. Number one, you guys take your vitamin D, especially you women. But vitamin D is the base molecule for your immune system. So if your vitamin D levels are normal, you will be able to fight any infections that are coming your way. Also, I pound the emergency packets that you dissolve in water. I just hit those when I'm exhausted, and it usually helps. Plus, I work at a hospital, so I definitely don't want to have a sickness. Hi, Brenda. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Looks like you guys can hear me. That's awesome. All right, Trish has fourth house Pisces. Okay, so we'll read that at the end for everybody. Good. Mary Mystic Lorna is here. Hello. And of course, the illustrious Lori is here. She's always here. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here and keeping all these beautiful souls polite and in line. Trish Farrell is here. Hello, Trish. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. The beautiful Sunny is here. Hello, friend. Awesome. Great to see you guys. Yeah, so over the weekend I got to meet the new grandbaby, and he's only 4 weeks old, so he's not very interesting, but he's super cute. And it was good to see the stepdaughter and her husband, and we got to spend some time with them, so that was nice. But it's just been a lot of traveling. It's crazy. My flights went great, so I can't complain there. And this week I've just been seeing some telemed patients, working on readings, getting presentations ready, and just gearing up for a very busy spring. Very, very busy. Hello, Aquarius is here. Hello, friend. Awesome. We're going to have a great conversation today. What I thought I'd do is just review what the sky looks like for you guys. And then I want to talk about the combination of Venus, Saturn, and Neptune. So for me, this combination, it ought, because I always think love and light. It's just the way I am. I'm sorry, guys. I just have to. I automatically think, wow, this is like the energy of your greatest dreams coming true. Because if you think about Neptune, the path to enlightenment is everything and anything is possible. Where Neptune comes from, the sky is the limit. The universe is the limit. There's nothing that is limiting Neptune. Up and down are the same thing, black and white, left and right. They're all the same thing. So like for Neptune, all timelines are possible. All realities are possible. And for Venus, when you feel inspired, oh my gosh, doesn't your creative juices start flowing? You feel like you could create anything. You feel like you could rule the world. Like if you're just, wow, okay, this is a great idea. Your body feels good. So imagine having that, plus like the sky's the limit kind of energy, along with Saturn. Now, is Saturn a bad planet? Do you guys think Saturn's a terrible planet? I mean, I don't think so. I feel like Saturn is an awesome planet. To me, Saturn crystallizes your reality. But before he does that, he builds your prisons for you. We all build our own prisons, right? Everything that we say yes or no to, or don't say yes or no to, we are creating. And so you have the sky's the limit, you have creative inspiration, and then you've got a body that can create something for you. So this is like the best of all three energies combined. Okay, that's what we can work with if we want to. Let's think about the shadow side of it just a little bit though, right? So Neptune's shadow is illusions, delusions, or even the reaction that you have when illusions are stripped away. We've had a lot of those lately, haven't we, in the mainstream media? It just feels gut-wrenching. You're like, I had no idea, but wow, okay, it is what it is. So Neptune can do that for you. Neptune can also be just so like loosey-goosey out there that nothing concrete can come from it. So in other words, you're just sort of living in the misty realms and nothing's real. And then Saturn, well, let's go. Venus is dark side, I guess. Venus is just an energy that manifests in a bad way when you don't recognize it. So when you don't follow your intuition, when you don't feel what it is, whatever it is you're feeling through your physical senses. And so that being blocked, not knowing what is exciting for you or not exciting for you, right? Or good or bad for you, not feeling into that. So an absence of Venus energy is sort of the dark side of Venus. So we've got this illusionment, disillusionment, the shattering of illusions, and an absence, an apathy almost, along with Saturn, who will literally create whatever's on your mind. So if you're not making decisions, if you're not keeping up with the real world around you, Saturn's going to create other things for you that are not aligned. So it's very interesting when you think of these three planets together, and it can run the gamut. But I like to think of it positively. So let me give you just, I wrote a little bit earlier this morning, so I just want to read this to you. And while we do that, let's just take a look at the sky. We'll watch the sky. We'll watch Saturn, Venus, and Neptune together. All right, then we're going to share that. I'm going to do this. We're going to go over here. I'm going to hide that. All right. So this program, guys, is called stellarium-web.org. It's wonderful if you like astronomical astrology and you want to know precisely where a planet is. So I have set this for this evening. So for those of you with clear skies, right after sunset tonight, you should be able to see Venus and Saturn conjunct. This is literally what it will look like. Neptune's also back there, but you're going to need a telescope to see Neptune. But there it is, right after sunset, this combination of these two planets. I have these two conjunct in my own natal chart, in my Gemini, in my second house. But they're conjunct now in my 10th house. So you can also read it like that. So at any rate, let me take out the atmosphere here so we can get a good bird's eye view of Neptune as well. And I want you guys to just sort of soften your gaze and just sort of think about this. So Venus, Neptune, and Saturn, they form a spiritual filtration system. Venus is the dream of the heart. She tells us what we love and what we want to experience. Neptune expands that longing into imagination and vision. Under Neptune, we can see beauty that does not yet exist. We can imagine relationships, creative work, or ways of living that feel almost magical. But Neptune alone can blur the line between inspiration and illusion. And this is where Saturn enters. Saturn is the architect of reality. He asks us whether the dream has bones. He asks whether the dream can be built. If Neptune gives the dream wings and Venus gives it desire, Saturn gives it structure. So sometimes the result is that the dreams dissolve. For example, someone may be deeply infatuated with a romantic fantasy, a crush, right? Venus feels the attraction and Neptune projects an ideal image onto that other person. And then when Saturn arrives, reality enters the picture. Maybe the relationship lacks trust or shared responsibility. Saturn exposes a structural weakness. The dream fades, not because love is impossible, but because that particular fantasy could not actually support real life. In another case, for example, the opposite could happen. Imagine an artist who has carried a vision for years, but's never fully committed to it. Neptune's given them inspiration. Venus has given them love for the craft. But without Saturn, the dream remains a daydream. When Saturn enters the picture, the artist begins a disciplined, devoted practice. They show up every day. They refine the work. Over time, that dream becomes tangible. A book is written. A channel's started. A piece of music is recorded. The dream survives because Saturn helped build the foundation. You can also see this combination in your spiritual life. Neptune opens the door to mystical awareness. Venus feels the devotion and reverence for the sacred. Saturn asks for commitment to that path. Meditation, prayer, study, discipline. That becomes the structure that allows spiritual insight to stabilize instead of remaining a fleeting experience. So when these three get together, Venus, Neptune, and Saturn, we will experience a moment of clarity around our dreams. Some of our illusions will dissolve gently like mist in the morning sun, and others will crystallize into something real and something enduring. So in a sense of dreams coming true, not every dream will come true for us. What they offer is something far more valuable. They help reveal which dreams are beautiful fantasies and which dreams are meant to become part of your life. So there you have it. There's the three planets together, and this is an incredible energy. And the collective feels it too, because they're two outer planets. This is a great conjunction. This only happens every 36 years. The last time it happened was 1989. And of course, the world went through a big shift because illusions were removed. Things that stood in the way of the dream of unity or the dream of this or the dream of that disappeared. And I think that small daily devotion is the key to this, right? I automatically just felt like I needed to do daily shorts on my channel for the lunar energy. I said, people, y'all need to follow your lunar energy. And then I said, well, why don't I give them a template to do that? And it didn't even dawn on me that this was a Saturn-Neptune type of energy. So every day, that one little act, those 1 to 2 minutes, crystallizes people that follow that information. So again, the idea of having people follow their lunar energy, I made that real because I just took those one little daily steps every day to make that happen. So we show up every day, whatever that devotion looks like for you. It doesn't have to be creating daily shorts. It could just be writing a Post-it note that says, I love you, you're awesome, and putting it on your mirror every morning, like daily positive affirmations. Could be that piece of devotion that you need to crystallize something that you've been having visions about or fantasizing about. Okay, if there's somebody that you're crushing on that you want to be with and you want to know if it's real or not real, start texting them, start calling them, start emailing them. See what comes from that. You'll know immediately if it's real or not real, right? Get out of the fantasy. Do something concrete, even if it's the smallest thing. And it doesn't even take money either. So if you have a dream or a vision, maybe you want to start a huge project, but you're just sort of in arrears right now. A penny a day towards your debt will add up over time. And just by having that mere action, by taking that little penny and putting it somewhere where it's not going to get spent, you're telling the universe that you want to take care of that. So you see, it's up to you. It's up to us. It's up to me. What do we want to create and how do we want to create it? So that's the three energies together. The next thing I want to talk about with you guys is the energy behind it, astrology in general. I want to ask you, does it matter that it's in the star field of Pisces? Does it matter that this is the point when the sun reaches its equinox? Because this red line, guys, is the sun's ecliptic. In fact, let me do something cool. I do this for a lot so you guys can see how the chart actually works. When we create an astrological chart, we're basically taking the sun's ecliptic and we're taking a two-dimensional slice through the sky. If I take out the landscape, there's your astrological chart. Hopefully you guys can see that, where we have, moon and sun. So if the sun's in Pisces and this is Virgo over here, then, this is probably late Virgo. Let's put the constellations in and see. So look at that. Wow. You guys will be seeing this image a lot more because I think it helps us connect that star field to the actual astrological chart. And so I'll be using this image in particular when we look at the presentation, where we go over generally astrology. I think it'll be very, very informative for you guys. I hope you like it because it's let me stop sharing. Because I don't think a lot of people really understand why we have the astrology that we have. And so I thought I would break that down, like point by point, so that it is absolutely clear. So that when someone is doing tropical astrology, or as I like to call it, seasonal planetology, you'll know exactly what they're doing and why it's somewhat accurate. I've been doing, I've had a whole bunch of readings this month because of you beautiful errants from the Archaics community. Thank you so much. And it's amazing how the readings are resonating with people. I'm getting such incredible positive feedback. People are saying, this is it. I can't believe I didn't know that this was happening. And I got to do 2 teenagers through the process, which was awesome. Because I think when parents know their children in this way, they're going to serve them so much better. So, all right, let's see who else is here. Oh, Kaki's here. Hey, love. She sends me a nice message on every single video and short I do. So I appreciate you so much. The Penny 48 is here. And you're new. Welcome. Good to see you. Oh, we did get a new channel member today. So thank you. I think it was Midge or Madge. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to do our Stargazers monthly Zoom call the Sunday before the new moons. I think it's the 15th or the 16th. But you guys will get the link to the Zoom call in the members community post. So I'll put that in there, and you guys can join us. And it's a live Zoom, and then I post it to the member section. So even if you can't come to the live Zoom, you'll get to see it later and see our conversation. All right, very cool. Just trying to boost the algorithm. Yeah, the algo. The algorithm is kind of one of those things where if you stare at it and think about it too much, you're creating resistance around it. And so I just go with the flow. I just ask myself curiously, I wonder if this will work. And I just try something new every time I post a video. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I trust that the right people will be here to get the right information when they need it at the exact right time. All right, I am a little bit dehydrated today because of the decongestant that I'm taking so that my face doesn't explode from all the pine pollen. So I apologize if I sound like dehydrated or stuffed up, but I will be sipping water as I go through this presentation with you. All right, here we go. All right, entire screen, share screen. And let's go here. Close that. Oh my goodness, hide that. There we go. Oops, not that. This is it. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay. So, does Venus care about the spring equinox? Well, that is a wonderful question. Because if you follow tropical astrology, they're going to tell you that Venus is in constellation Aries, conjunct Neptune and Saturn. Okay. But why is this part of the sky, which is all Pisces, why do they still call it Aries? Well, it's because in the northern hemisphere, when the sun is right here, it's the first day of spring. In the southern hemisphere, it's the first day of fall. But tropical is a northern hemisphere centric astrology or planetology. It's very specific for the northern hemisphere. So for those of you in the southern hemisphere, I'm surprised any of you even follow tropical astrology at all, because they're having you start your journey halfway through your journey when your journey is peaking, right? Because now you're approaching your fall season and you're about to go into your colder months where things kind of shrink inward and conserve energy. And we in the northern hemisphere are heading towards our summer solstice, meaning that we're expanding, we're rising, we're, the first half of the moon, we're swelling. So we experience different solar seasons in different parts of the world. But there you go, that's why. And so this system has been developed to overlay the sun's seasonal journey. And each one of these sections of the sky, for those of you that follow constellational astrology, I'm sorry, I'm making you look at a tropical chart, but this is for demonstration purposes. These signs, if you notice, they're all the same exact size. How in the world did nature do that? That's almost impossible. You can call this part of the sky anything you want to. You can call it March. You can call it blueberry. You can name it yourself. The tropical planetologists call this part of the sky Aries, which is very confusing for people that want to do astrology, because the first thing they teach you is that their system is not connected to the actual sky. How does that make sense? Okay, so that is why they are saying that Venus and Neptune and Saturn are in Aries. When you looked at the sky with me when we opened this presentation, you saw they were in Pisces. They were nowhere near whatever this construct is. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. I can't see my chat, so maybe I'll look on my phone just to make sure you guys are still getting me. Oh yeah, I can see it. Cool. All right. So if you guys have any questions, or you need me to stop or slow down, just text it. The phone's in my lap, so I should be able to see you. All right. Let's go into the next slide, because I need you to understand the concept of resonance, disresonance, constructive interference, and destructive interference in the framework of frequency waves. For those of you that like music, you play a C note on your piano and you get a tone, duh, right? If you were to play the C sharp at the same time on that piano, you would get a very strange sound. It doesn't sound nice. But if you were to play the G key, which is 5 whole steps up, those two would sound nice together. That's a constructive interference. What you get is the CG tone, which creates a certain frequency that makes our brain respond in certain ways, right? Colors are the same way. We have wavelengths of light that when you mix colors for painting, they work out. They become a nice color. This is constructive interference. It's meant to enhance the frequency, okay? And when you play 2 disresonant notes together, or you mix, red and purple together, you get a color that isn't quite nice. It's not bright. It's too muddy. It doesn't really pop, and it's not really something that our eyes want to attune to. Okay? So this is the concept that I usually will teach you guys, so that you understand the difference between doing astrology aligned with stars and doing seasonal planetology aligned with a calendar. Okay? So this is true sky, real sky astrology, aligned with nature, aligned with the as above, and this is using the calendar's planetology. You're going to get a little bit out of it, but for the most part, it's a destructive interference. In other words, you are living in a construct you created with your own magical energy by following this calendar. And it's okay. If that's what you do, that's fine. I'm not judging anybody for doing this. The purpose of this exercise is to explore how and why they are different. Because I get this question all the time. People don't understand astronomy. Once you understand astronomy, then this becomes a little more clear. But you also have to understand frequency and resonance and harmonics. So this is that stellarium-web.org screenshot of the sky we were just looking at. And this is your tropical wheel, your calendar, your blueberry, your March, your peanut butter month, placed over the stars of Pisces. It's confusing, right? Because they name this sign Pisces, but the sign Pisces has nothing to do with the constellation Pisces. Here's the diabolical part. It used to. There's a phenomenon called precession, where every 72 years, the position of the equinox point drifts, and it drifts clockwise. Okay? So yes, 2,000 years ago, the equinox point was right here. Now it's right here, where Venus, Mercury, and Saturn are. So these three planets are on the equinox point. So the question I have been asking with the fervor around having Saturn and Neptune be in Aries, oh my God, do Saturn and Neptune care about what season Sun and Earth are having? Does Venus care about Sun and Earth's season? And that's the question I ask you. I don't know the answer to that. My guess is no. My guess is that if we force these luminaries into this constructed seasonal energy and we stay focused here on the ground looking at our feet without looking up, we are constructing an arbitrary and illusory reality. And that's the problem. That's why we feel so disconnected. That's why we feel like we're not from here, because we're looking down at our feet and doing what we're told instead of looking up and connecting with who we really are. Now, if this was your birth chart, for example, they tell you have Saturn, Venus, and Neptune in Aries. They're going to give you this description of you that may or may not resonate. Maybe the three planets together will resonate a little bit. But the difference, and this is why this talk is so important right now, the difference between Aries and Pisces is huge, energetically speaking. So if we're giving something that has the name of a star field that is only an arbitrary calendar month, a level of energy that isn't in alignment with those stars, we're doing this. We're doing plan B. Okay? That's literally what it is. And I'm not judging it. I'm just saying, like, if you're saying you're doing astrology and you're using the tropical system, you're using seasonal planetology, and you're only using it for the northern hemisphere. Okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm not judging this if this is what you want to do, but this is the difference. This is why there is a disconnect. I don't judge anybody for doing any kind of astrology. The planetology is where the secret sauce is. If you can understand the energy of these planets as they are, if you can understand that and talk about the relationships that they have with each other, you've done a lot. That's one of the hardest things to actually pick up in astrology. And so when it finally clicks for you, these aspects, and you start reading charts, if you've been doing tropical all along, you don't want to let go of that because you think you're not going to be able to do your readings. But you can. You can, and you'll be serving your clients and your family and your friends and anybody that you're helping in a much more accurate and precise way. Notice I didn't say better or worse way. I just said accurate and precise. So it just depends on you if you want to be accurate and precise. If you want to be just a little bit accurate, maybe 80% accurate, that's cool. Because it's not the astrology, it's the astrologer. So I hope this makes sense. This is the tropical calendar imposed upon our natural sky from the screenshot that we took from Stellarium. Now I'm going to put, this was a quick shift. Do you see that? I just put another chart on there that is a slice through this three-dimensional sphere bubble that we're sitting in. And we're plopping it into the same planetology. You see? We're just using the real sky. Does this make a difference? So I'm asking you, let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments, does this make a difference for you? We're going to go over what the difference between Saturn, Venus, and Neptune in Aries versus Pisces feels like, more specifically as I get to the end. But let's just ask ourselves this question. And then when I read them to you, you can say, okay, yeah, this resonates or this resonates. And I'm not judging you either way for like what resonates with you. I'm just putting this out there so that people understand what kind of astrology we're doing. We're not using dashas or nakshatras. This is not Vedic astrology. Vedic uses equal signs, but they turn it so that at least the Pisces star field, or at least the Pisces sign, is within the Pisces star field. So their Aries might be a little bit bigger and their Pisces a little bit smaller, but they're still aligned with the actual sky. And the only thing is they don't do Ophiuchus. So they are also planetologists, and their astrology is even a little bit more precise. But if you're doing astrology this way, my argument is, and my stance is, my truth is that this is the most precise way to do astrology. All right, let's go back to that tropical chart. Let's think about this a little bit more deeply. I want to explain this concept in a different way so that you understand it. This is monitoring the sun's movement. So our calendar, our Gregorian calendar, is a solar calendar. The tropical calendar is also a solar calendar, using the sun as the minute hand or the hour hand of the year. So right now, their sun is in the Pisces month when it's actually in Aquarius. It'll be in Pisces on the 10th through the transiting sky. So currently, we are feeling into solar Aquarius energy, those of us that follow the real sky. And those using the calendar are saying that it's Pisces season, which is no different than saying it's March season. It's February 21st to March 21st. That's all they're saying. But what they do is they read the flavor of the energy. And that's the part I have a little bit of a problem with, because I don't think that's precise. Again, that's just my opinion. So the sun will take 30.42 days to travel through each of these calendar months, each of these signs. The sun transiting through the actual constellations, it varies. It's not exactly 30.42 days. When we transit through Virgo in October, all of October, the sun spends time in Virgo. So the entire month of October, the sun is in Virgo. So basically from, I think it's September 15th to November 11th or November 5th, the sun will be in Virgo. So Tropical's Virgo is very tiny. It's still only 30.42 days, whereas the real sky Virgo is 48 or 49 days. Okay? Just a point I wanted to be really clear. Like I said, we're going deep on this. Some of this might be review for some of you that have been following this kind of astrology for a while, but we have some newcomers. We have people that are curious, and it's always good to think of new ways to think about this. So really, these signs, these archetypes are no different than your 12-month calendar. It's this construct right here that you guys, not you guys, but tropical planetologists are using. They're putting the planets within this construct. They're just naming it differently, and they've moved it slightly. So for example, when you look at the month of Aries, it has nothing to do with the stars of Aries. Okay, it starts on March 21st when the sun is still in Pisces in the real sky, and it goes all the way to the 21st of April. It's exactly 30.42 days. That is the month of Aries, and it has nothing to do with the stars of Aries. This is not astrology. Astro means of the stars. So yes, it's a sticking point. It's a nuance point. It's a very fine point, but it makes sense because the words we say spell things, guys. This is seasonal planetology and has nothing to do with the real sky. So I put the real sky ring around our tropical ring, and you can see the placements are exactly the same. The houses are exactly the same. The angles, the reflections of light between all of these luminaries sitting at this round table is exactly the same in both systems. But my opinion is you cannot call this part of the sky Aries. You can call it Aries season, but you cannot call it astrology. Okay? Because of this. It's seasonal planetology. You are describing a season, not the stars. So I'm calling for a name change. I don't want to change the name of what we do. We do astrology. We also do planetology. I'm not saying, we're not, doing the same thing. It's just the background stars. Astrology is a word that means from the stars. It is calculation and foretelling based on the observation of heavenly bodies. Astrology and astronomy used to be one sacred science, and they're not anymore because of this very reason, because we didn't follow precession. And it's nobody's fault. I'm not saying there's some controller out there making it like this and we have some wool pulled over our eyes. I'm saying we did astronomy the same, or astrology the same way for so long that we forgot to stop looking at our shoes and look up at the sky. Okay, so they should be one sacred science. That's what I'm working towards. Now, if you want to know when the actual sun transits through Aries, the 19 degrees of Aries, meaning it only takes 20 days for the sun to move through Aries, it is from April 20th, not March 21st right here, but April 21st. That's when Sun Aries season starts. Okay, that's when that transit occurs, and it lasts until May 11th. This is real sky astrology, and we also use planetology. So I'm hoping this is making sense. Let me know if this is okay, if you guys are getting this and it's clicking for you, why it's important and why it matters, just for accuracy's sake, just for precision's sake. One more time, we're back to the tropical. So this represents the sun's transit during the season of Aries, but it is arbitrarily designated just like the calendar. So we're going to take away that ring and show you what planetology is. It doesn't matter what's in the sky here, because when I described to you the conjunction of Saturn, Venus, and Mars, that energy is what those three are. Okay, and that planetology resonates for everyone everywhere. Its sextile to Uranus should also resonate, but only if we're talking about just the pure energy of Uranus. Now, the question remains, again, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. I know my truth, but the question remains, does it matter the star field, or does it matter the month that we have arbitrarily chosen within the Northern Hemisphere's seasonal cycle? For some people, that's what it is, and that works. Again, it's about the resonance, okay? For me, looking up, bringing it back into astronomy, we get to resonate with the real field. We get to resonate with the real sky. Whereas tropical is just resonating with something that humanity created to keep us all in line, to make sure we know when to go to work, to make sure when we know when to do certain things, to show up for certain festivals where they program us and harvest our loosh. Whereas the real sky, using the same planetology, I believe, this is my truth. I'm not telling you guys what to do. I believe this is where the real resonance lives. This is where you can find out what your soul's purpose is, what you're here to do, and really, just align. The as above, so below, the Gnostic principle. And we get to add Ophiuchus, which is ascension energy, right? It's breaking free from the constant loop of karma, constantly feeling like you have to do something. When you just go with the flow, when you go with the real sky, life works with you instead of against you. So this is life working with you. This is life not working with you. So if you've done all the things and you still believe in tropical astrology and your life is still not working well for you, may I suggest, just as a friend, as a colleague, as somebody out there in the world, that you try this kind of astrology, that you at least download your own free chart and look at it and, dive into some of those energies, get a reading with one of us. I'm not the only one in town that does readings. Some of my students are doing readings now. So we're growing. It's making sense to a lot of people. And I hope it will to you guys too. All right. I'm sorry. One more tropical slide. So again, I will ask you the question, do Venus or the other planets care about that equinox point? And my feeling is no. So here we are in the real sky. This is Venus, Saturn, and Neptune hanging out in the middle of Pisces, just doing the Pisces thing. And so I thought what might be helpful is to just look at Venus's seasons because I follow Venus in the real sky, and we're going to be looking at this graphic quite a bit. I don't think Venus cares about the sun's equinox because we are here and we are hanging out in Pisces right here. And this is when Venus will enter into Aries on April Fool's Day. So if you want a Venus season of Aries, these are the dates you want to look for it. For those of you that are watching tropical astrologers, you can get a flavor of what Venus in Aries feels like. And I encourage you to do so because many, many tropical astrologers are brilliant and very intuitive. Astrologer Joe, I think he's a brilliant and very good astrologer. I also think that, who's another good one? I like Steve Judd. I like him a lot. So I listen to them, but I take them for a grain of salt when they tell me the positions and they give me the energy. But when they talk about the angles between the planets, that's where the sauce is. So here is Venus's transit from 4/1 to 4/17, and we will not be there for at least another 3 weeks. Okay? And I'll get into what this whole graphic means in another Venus presentation, but I just wanted to talk to you about the seasons of Venus. Like, does she care that we're at an equinox point for the sun? And I don't think she does. So let's go into why it might matter. This is a nice little table, a little side-by-side comparison of what it feels like to have these 3 energies in Aries as a tropical interpretation versus in the Pisces sky. Okay, so the elements are absolutely different. We have fire and we have water. And if you're an alchemist or if you follow Gnostic teachings, you even do a little bit of magic, elements are really important. When a fire energy is needed and you're putting water on it, it doesn't work, vice versa, right? The core mood is going to be ignition, bold action, and initiation in Aries. Whereas in Pisces, it's going to be dissolution, reflection, sensitivity. Venus is going to be a passionate pursuit of desire. She's hot to trot. She's ready to go in Aries. But in Pisces, she's just sort of drifting on the mist. Go check out the last Venus live stream. I go into at least a 5 or 8 minute read on what Venus in Pisces is: morning star, evening star, retrograde, and direct. So it's much more than just compassionate and mystical love. It's even deeper and more mystical than that. Relationship-wise, Aries is going to bring fast beginnings, courageous attraction, while Pisces is going to be emotional depth and spiritual bonds. Imagine someone telling you you have a Venus in Aries when you actually have a Venus in Pisces in the real sky. And you notice that your relationships are never fast beginnings. If you try to be courageous, it never works for you. But what if someone then told you, you have a Pisces Venus? This is what you should expect. And all of a sudden, the light bulbs come on. The connections in the brain start working. And a whole level of alchemy starts to happen for people. So let's talk about Saturn. So Saturn in Aries, this is why it's really upsetting for me that they're saying Saturn is in Aries, because this is quick commitment. This is building new things, right? Where what we may want to be doing is testing our emotional boundaries and seeing what's real and not real. That's probably more important than building something before you've had a minute to test it. So, you want to be very, like I said, Saturn will create your prison for you. So be careful what you create with Saturn's influence and which energy field you use. Neptune is idealism, fueling action. So imagine you're this Neptune energy and you've got some kind of illusion, delusion, fantasy, and you start creating with Neptune, because anything and everything is possible. Where Neptune in Pisces is dissolving fantasies to reveal truth. This is a big one. Tell me where you guys are right now. Do you feel like Neptune is idealism fueling action? Or do you think many of our fantasies are revealing truth? Like the masks are being pulled away. The reality is being shown to us. I think it's the second one. So then there's a creative tone. You're going to want to launch new projects with enthusiasm with the 3 of these things together. Whereas in Pisces, maybe you want to channel. Maybe you want to imagine your artistic vision. Maybe you want to spend some time in it. The emotional atmosphere with Aries, of course, is assertive, direct, and impulsive. And when you put it like an Aries sun and a Pisces sun together, a lot of times that Aries sun is just going to be dominating the room. And so, do we have Venus, Saturn, and Neptune in this assertive, direct, impulsive energy? Or is it dreamlike, empathetic, and introspective? I vote the second. And then, of course, the spiritual lesson is the courage to pursue what you want. So we will get that. We will get that energy, but not yet. Saturn won't be in Aries until 2028, and Neptune will not be in Aries until 2040. So we'll have to wait for that courage to pursue as a collective what we want. We've got to go through some discernment between illusion and truth right now, and that's a process. That's a long process. And then the overall current is starting something new or feeling something deeper. I could go either way on that. So tell me what you guys think, because this is the conclusions that I've come to in the middle of the night, contemplating the world and the cosmos. So what I want to do now is just pause for a minute, sip some water. And for those of you that know your ascendants, you know your rising sign, I just wanted to point out that this combination for you will be in the following houses. For example, I am a Taurus rising. So for me, this energy is in my 10th house. Okay. Virgo is a big constellation. Some of you will have it in your 6th. Some of you will have it in your 7th. I will read for both. Scorpio and Ophiuchus, I read you as one star field because you are on top of one another rather than side by side. This energy is happening in your 4th house. Pisces is also a large constellation too. So if Pisces is on your ascendant, I know a few of you, it could be in your 1st or your 12th. Either way, 1st and 12th are similar energy when we're talking about ascendant. So these 3 energies are on your ascendant. And so Leo's a little bit larger too. Leo's going to have it on their 8th and 7th cusp, and Cancer rising 8th. Cancer is having a tough time. This is probably the only sign that is really feeling the inner pangs of what the lower vibration of this energy can feel. You guys are the ones that are like, everything is terrible. Well, at least the ones I've talked to. So just so you have that and you know what that is, we are going to, I wonder if I should just look at a chart or just read it or just see who's got what. Yeah, because we're at the end of the slideshow. So let me get out of this and get back to you guys. That's all I wanted to share presentation-wise. I wanted to just spend the rest of the time chit-chatting with y'all, answering questions, and reading your rising sign by house. So let me just go through some of your comments. We'll put you guys up on the screen here for just a second. Again, sorry for being so stuffed up. This pine pollen is brutal this year. All right, Brian Hardy is Taurus rising. Christine is also Taurus rising. I'm Taurus rising. Very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of 2040 astrology going on. And what's so interesting is he is predicting the return of the Phoenix phenomenon. Whether it's a planet coming from space on a different ecliptic or a different field merging with our field, there's a couple different theories on how that works. I think astrology has a lot to do with the patterns that we see in history. And I think Jason's a closet astrologer. He just doesn't know it. And I say that in the nicest, loving way. And he's really come around to understanding astrology. But yeah, there's a lot of alignments. Number one, Pluto will not actually be in constellation or star field Aquarius until 2040. Neptune will not be in Aries star field until 2040. So yeah, those two things align up. The Phoenix is predicted to come. Now, the Phoenix happens every 138 years, as far as I understand it, maybe give or take a year, which is very similar to the fine structure constant, or 137, that we play with numerologically over here. And when you look at when the Phoenix is supposed to come, I have heard it's somewhere mid-May. The 16th, 17th of May are the 136th, 37th, 38th day of the year. So that's that's probably when all of that those two fields will actually merge. So yeah, that's interesting for sure. Nancy Neal's here. Hello, friend. All right, we got a Scorpio rising. We got a Leo rising. Another Leo rising. Awesome. Another Scorpio rising. Good, good, good. Yep. And those of you that have fourth house. So anybody that has this on their ascendant, in their 10th house, in their 7th house, or their 4th house, these are called the cardinal angles. This is something we learned from Hellenistic tropical astrology, but it does work because it's something that was brought from astronomy, astrology into Hellenistic planetology. Okay. So if you have a planet in your midheaven, that is going to be significant, more significant, they say, if it were in your 8th or 9th house, because those are not cardinal angles. So first, 10th, 7th, and 4th houses are cardinal angles. So anybody that has that in their chart, if we go back, I'll read these for you in just a second. It'll be important for you. Awesome. Ooh, this is a great question. So Christina Cardoza asks, curious for your opinion, is Pisces Venus and Virgo Pisces compatible as opposites attract? Non-structure versus structure. I would say absolutely. The people I'm most excited to be attracted to are all Venus in Sag. Every single one of them. My husband's a Sag. A lot of people that I follow creatively have their Venus in Sag, while mine's in Gemini. So yes, I think so. I think there can be a nice attraction between Venus on the opposite sides of the chart. Now, it depends. Are they both morning stars? Is one a morning star and one an evening star? Is one retrograde, one not retrograde? That can also influence it. Anybody that's got a retrograde Venus, they're going to be very intense. They're going to be more warlike instead of a cuddly kitten. Okay, they're going to have a very, very intense Venus energy. So yes, I would say just in general. Awesome. So Nancy's tropical Venus. Oh, you're the perfect specimen, Nancy, for this conversation, because that's what we're asking ourselves. Is there a difference for you? Are you the sort of, go get it magnetic kind of Venus energy, or are you more of a dreamy swimming energy? I mean, either one's fine. Like, I could be wrong. I'm just you're the perfect specimen. Another great question from Magpie. They say, yeah, I was born on a solar angular eclipse. Does the rising sign stay the same as tropical? No, not always. The rising sign will change if you use the real sky. If you know your tropical rising sign, I might be able to help you. But the solar eclipse is still a solar eclipse, and your houses are still the same. So if you know the house of your Venus and you use the chart I gave you on the last slide, you'll still be able to get the download. Awesome. Yep, that makes sense. Sleep under the energy where the elements matter. Yep. No one's getting my loosh. Nope. Well, you can give your loosh as long as you're exchanging it for something that is, fair and equitable. Sunny says, with this transition, I can truly have authentic relations with the planet, asteroids, dwarf planets, stars, etc., in the true place, location, context, environment in space. I love it. Very good. Well, I'm so glad you guys were able to join me. I really do enjoy these live streams and helping make complex concepts a little clearer. Magpies, do it. You're an Ophiuchus. That's awesome. I think the reason that we probably go back and forth, and I'll share my screen real quick and we'll look at the actual sky. Let me pull it up first. Like I said, it's the houses, I think, that make tropical feel good, because the houses are exactly the same. Let me show you what I mean. So we'll just take today's sky, for example, and I have it set to constellational or real sky. But if I want to go in here and change that setting, I can do that. And I can turn this into a tropical chart right here. Hit save. And then go back, and you can see the houses are exactly the same. There's no difference between these two charts. Let's just open this up twice, and we'll do one version as tropical and one version as real sky. Oh my gosh. I like pine trees, but I just don't like that every single season they secrete something into the universe that you either have to clean up or it makes you sneeze. Okay, so there is the tropical. There is the true sky. So the angle of the planets between them hasn't changed. The houses haven't changed. This journey from 1st to 12th house is the same journey as the tropical Aries to Pisces journey that is clockwise. So that hasn't changed. That's why you can still use many of the techniques and things that we learn in Hellenistic astrology and tropical astrology with the true sky. I do that all the time, especially when I'm analyzing Venus. Because let me show you this, you guys. This is pretty cool. When I do a Venus reading, I take you guys' Venuses and I put it on the ascendant. And then I talk to you about Venus's relationships to the other planets through this house system from Venus's perspective. This is also another way that you can do somebody's chart if you don't have their time of birth. You can go ahead and just put the sun on the ascendant and hit save. And then you can read their chart like that. So anything that is 3rd house from the sun, 4th house from the sun is going to have a type of energy, which is related to the tropical system. They just merge the sky with the houses. And to me, the houses are just rays of light that expand outward from you, who's in the middle. So, all right, let's see. Let's stop sharing. I hope that made sense. All right, you beautiful rising signs. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to take the chat down so you guys can hear and see me. And let's do this through the rising signs. So I will start with, if there's any Virgo rising in the house, this is in your 6th and 7th houses, okay? So for Virgo rising, this powerful trine in Pisces is unfolding. Now, in these readings, I'm reading you Pisces because you came here for this kind of astrology, okay? This is the axis of service and relationship. The 6th house is the realm of daily work, healing, and the systems that support your life. The 7th house is the mirror of partnership. So when Venus meets Saturn and Neptune here, relationships begin to influence the rhythms of everyday life in profound ways. You may be reevaluating the way you give your energy to others. Virgo risings, you're such givers. Venus asks what you love. Saturn asks what you're responsible for. And Neptune dissolves illusions around that. And together they invite a purification of your agreements with others. So some partnerships may deepen through this energy. Some might dissolve. It just depends on where the devotion and where the shared purpose lie. So any unclear relationships, these boundaries may be revealed to you. So what you thought may have been a best friend maybe isn't anymore. Or someone you never thought you could hook up with suddenly becomes your new friend with benefits. And it's fun and it's great. So this is what this energy can do for you. This is an opportunity to create relationships that support your well-being rather than drain it. So love becomes something practical and sacred at the same time for you, Virgo Rising. All right, so Libra Rising is next. So we're going around the wheel. Okay, so we went from Virgo, now we're moving to Libra. This is fifth house energy for you, Libra Rising. This conjunction will be in the house of your creativity, your pleasure, your romance, and the expression of the heart. Venus is your ruling planet. If you go with the traditional system, Virgo can also claim her, I think. So this moment may feel especially personal for you. Saturn will bring seriousness and commitment to what you create. Neptune opens the doorway to imagination and inspiration. Venus softens the entire process with beauty and longing. You might find that your creative voice is actually evolving. The things that once felt entertaining may now feel like a calling. Romance may also take on a more spiritual tone for you. And again, this all just depends on where other planets are in your own natal chart. This is about as specific as we can get without actually doing a reading. So connections that appear now could feel fated, artistic, or deeply emotional. The invitation is to allow your creativity to become devotional. Spend 5-10 minutes a day to your art and to your craft. What does your heart truly want to bring into the world? All right, for those of you that have either Scorpio or Ophiuchus Rising, Scorpio Rising, the star field between the galactic center and the beginning of Libra. This is happening in the house that is the foundation of the chart. So remember, this is one of the cardinal angles. So for you guys with Scorpio or Ophiuchus Rising, you're going to be feeling something here, something big, something meaningful. The realm of home, ancestry, and the inner sanctuary of the soul are all big themes for you with this trifecta. Venus will soften the emotional atmosphere of home, and Saturn will bring structure and responsibility to that space. Neptune is going to dissolve old emotional patterns. So that can be really nice, but it can also be very startling. You might actually be reflecting on what home means to you. Like for some, this could involve physical changes to the living space, the family structure. Somebody moves in, somebody moves out. For others, it's a deeper emotional process of healing the ancestral patterns, which have much greater ripples when you do that. Anytime you guys do that, especially you magicians that are Ophiuchus and Scorpio rising, if you're doing that ancestral healing, they're watching you. They're excited for you. Every time you learn something new, heal something in the family line, their next life is going to be better because of what you've been doing. So you're healing your past, and you're also making your future generations better for what you're doing. So you guys have a very important role in this. This is the root system of the chart too. It invites forgiveness, compassion, and spiritual grounding. It's a time to build a home that nourishes your soul. That's a big one, Scorpio and Ophiuchus. All right. The next is Sagittarius Rising. So we're going beyond the galactic center now. We've passed it. We're in the stars of Sagittarius. You guys will have a third house combination of Venus, Saturn, and Neptune. And that's the house of communication, of learning, and the mind itself. Guys, your words for Sagittarius Rising are very, very powerful right now. Venus is bringing the beauty of your life and of your soul into expression. And Saturn is asking you to take your voice more seriously than you ever have before. Neptune will invite poetry, imagination, and intuition. You're going to be felt drawn to write, to teach, to share ideas that have a mystical or philosophical quality. And conversations with siblings, close neighbors, friends may also bring in moments of emotional insight. So for you guys, the mind is the bridge between logic and intuition. This is a time to speak the truth in a way that opens your heart. All right, the next one is Capricorn Rising. So again, we're just drifting along the zodiac. And for those of you that have Capricorn Rising, this stellium of Venus, Saturn, and Neptune are in your second house, the house of values, resource, self-worth, your stuff, your things, your money, your income. And having Venus in the second house, for even if it's just for a few weeks, is awesome. So she's going to ask you, what do you truly appreciate? You're not going to put up with things that you don't want. You're going to want the things you want when Venus is moving through your second house. Saturn here, however, can demand maturity in how you manage those assets and resources. Neptune's going to dissolve illusions around material security. So for those of you that have some shady stocks or shady investments or investments that were too good to be true, this could be a tough time as Neptune moves through your second house. So just understand that if that does happen to you, Capricorn Rising, you guys work pretty well with Saturn. Capricorn energy is amazing. You all have the ambition, the stamina to change your situation. So if you found yourself in that situation, you have the tools in your chart to change it for sure. So what you guys want to do is build a value system that's practical and soulful. What you create from this space can become deeply meaningful and sustainable. All right, next rising sign is Aquarius. My husband has Aquarius Rising, so we'll read this for him. Also, Uma Stella has Aquarius Rising. And this stellium, okay, this is another cardinal angle, right? This is going to be first house energy for you guys because it's early Pisces. If you have Aquarius Rising, everything's in your first house. The house of identity, the house of your body, the house of how you see yourself, essentially. And this is where the world meets you. Venus is going to soften your presence just a bit. Saturn will strengthen your character. And Neptune will dissolve old versions of yourself. This is probably one of the coolest placements for this stellium. You're going to feel that your identity is actually changing, Aquarius Rising. The way that you present yourself to the world may become more compassionate, artistic, spiritually oriented. Others may perceive you differently as well. So people will ask, hey, what are you doing differently, Aquarius Rising? And be like, well, hey, I'm just more soulful. And it makes me look good. So this is a moment of personal redefinition for Aquarius Rising, who you are becoming when love, discipline, and spiritual vision all converge within your own being. What does that mean for you? And now we have Pisces Rising. So I know there's a few Pisces Rising in the chat. So this is for you. It could be either first or 12th house. Again, the energy is very similar. If you have a lot of 12th house energy, it tends to be very strong and more perceivable than you would think 12th house energy would be. So this is the doorway between your unseen world and your physical identity, right? It's sort of the beginning and the end of you. And Venus is going to bring this beauty into your spiritual life. Saturn's going to ask you to take your inner work very seriously. And Neptune, your chart ruler, will dissolve boundaries between the material and the mystical realm. So it could be a really cool opportunity to go on some spiritual journeys, to find your spirit animal, do some drum circles, do some plant medicine if that's your thing. You might feel drawn inward as well. So dreams and intuition and meditation, they're all very practical, powerful ways to guide yourself through this time. And then at the same time, because you're doing all of this on the inner levels, on the deeper levels, on the end of yourself, a newer version of yourself may also be emerging here. So it's literally both an ending and a beginning for you, Pisces Rising. Something old is dissolving so that your true essence can step forward. And this is literally how magic works, right? If something ends, we usually grieve it, we mourn it, we stay attached to it, we don't want it to leave. But what if we just got rid of the emotional attachment to it and just said, you know what? Go be you, be gone, go where you're supposed to go, and you let that energy go. You now have space to hold something new, something that is truly aligned to what you are now, what you've been transforming into. So this is really cool to have that first and 12th house energy there. Absolutely. All right, who's next? Aries Rising. So Aries Rising will be feeling Venus in their first house after April 1st. Remember that timeline we looked at for the Venus seasons? Right now, Aries Rising, you're experiencing Saturn, Neptune, and Venus in your 11th house, which is community, your friendships, shared visions of the future, distant relatives, enemies, all that energy is right there. So Venus is going to bring a harmony to your group situations, your group dynamics. Saturn is going to ask you to commit to those communities that matter the most. So if you feel like you're spread thin, you might want to pick one or two that really need your help or your service and focus on that. Neptune invites a dream for the collective. So Aries Rising, you get to participate in the collective dream. You're going to feel drawn towards communities that share spiritual or creative values. Some friendships will deepen, some will drift away, especially if the vision's no longer aligned. So as you shift through the 11th house energy, you'll find that you're no longer interested in certain activities that you used to do. You're just like, that's boring. I don't feel like going to bowling on Monday night every night. I just don't feel like doing that. Maybe a class you're taking no longer resonates with you. So you stop doing it. So the social interactions, there's less oomph, there's less inspiration for things that are not aligning with you. Where some new ones might be coming, like, hey, maybe I want to join a chorus, and learn how to sing in a chorus. So then you do that different activity where you're meeting with new people. Or maybe you want to join a band. That whole scene could be completely different. It just depends. It just depends on what you're into, Aries Rising. All right, Taurus Rising. So this is us. This is me. This is Christine and Monday Born Magic, I think. We have a couple Taurus on the live stream right now. So let's get into this. This is 10th house. This is a cardinal angle. This is the house of career, public image, visibility, reputation. Okay. So Venus is the ruling planet of our chart as well. And she is with these two monstrous planets, Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is going to bring us responsibility and long-term structure in our professional life, whatever that looks like. And Neptune is opening possibilities of work that carries spiritual or creative meaning. I resonate with this 100%. I'm doing a lot of different things the way I want to do it, because that's how I am. I can't just sit and do one thing all day. I've got to do this little thing here and this little thing here and this little thing here. And that's what makes me happy. That's what keeps me energetic. Some people in Taurus Rising may feel called to pursue a career that reflects their deeper values. If what you're doing feels stale to you, Taurus Rising, change it. Do something different, even if it's just one small action. Saturn will appreciate that from you, and he will also take note of it. So if you're in a career you don't like, sign up for a class that gives you a new skill so you can change your career. Start looking at the want ads. Start asking people if they have opportunities in other fields. And definitely just make those small steps, and Saturn will respond and begin building a new future for you. So recognition could also come through artistic healing or compassionate forms of leadership. So if you're already in your dream space and you've been working it and hitting it, you might get the recognition that you feel like you finally deserve. So this is a time to align your public role with the truth of your heart. And if you've already been doing that, it's time to be recognized. Okay? All right, we're getting into Gemini Rising. Gemini is after Taurus Rising. This is a busy, busy energy. And the Venus, Neptune, and Saturn are in your 9th house, the house of philosophy, wisdom, truth, your belief systems, higher learning. So Venus is going to bring beauty to this learning, to the spiritual study. It's going to be a creative endeavor almost. Saturn's going to ask you to build a disciplined understanding of the world, or whatever that curriculum is. Saturn's going to want you to create a curriculum maybe. And Neptune's going to open mystical insights within that structure. Some of you may be filled to explore more spiritual teachings. Some of you may have never studied spiritual teachings, so this is a whole new thing for you. Some of you have never traveled much, but maybe you want to now. Or maybe you travel a lot, and maybe you want to settle down now. So higher learning that expands your worldview, beliefs that once seemed solid may dissolve so that deeper truths can emerge. So for Gemini Rising, this is a time to allow wonder and curiosity to guide your search for meaning. And all right, we have Cancer Rising. So you guys are going through it. Right now, you're having an 8th house lunation. So this whole energy is also in your 8th house. It can feel like you're hitting rock bottom. It can feel like you don't know where the end of the darkness is. But this is it, okay? After the next new moon, you guys are going to start feeling better. You guys are going to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, okay? But this is happening in your 8th house, which is the house of transformation, intimacy, and shared resources. It's where all the tender stuff is in our lives. So y'all are going through it. But Venus moving through this space, because she hasn't been here recently. This is a shorter transit over your 8th house. It takes about 25 days. It's going to soften this vulnerability. It's going to feel better to be vulnerable. And Saturn's going to ask you for maturity and how you merge energy with others. It's going to say, well, you're in this situation because you were merging with folks that are no longer in alignment with you. So now see the theme, it's a lot of letting go and surrendering. And Neptune is dissolving illusions for you, Cancer rising. It's not about fantasizing about the next best thing. It's dissolving illusions about that trust and power in your life. Some of your relationships might deepen into spaces of profound emotional honesty. Some financial or energetic exchanges may also require very careful awareness on your part. But this is also the house of alchemy. This is where energy can emerge here that can transform the way you experience connection and intimacy in this world. So just hang in there, Cancer rising. You're gonna get through it. And then finally, I have Leo rising, as we have a thunderstorm rolling in. So that's amazing. And Leo's a bigger constellation too. So you might be experiencing Venus, Saturn, and Neptune in your 7th and or 8th house. So for Cancer rising, it's more your later 8th house. For Leo rising, it's going to be like the cusp of your 7th and 8th house. Okay. So this is the house of partnerships and the 8th house of deep emotional merging and also purging. So the way that you connect with people, there's more practical energy for Leo rising than for Cancer rising. For Cancer rising, it's more of just like that emotional gunk that kind of builds up. But again, this is energy that is a cardinal angle. So partnerships, collaborations, what you project onto the world. So Venus is going to bring Leo a love connection. So any of you that are Leo rising, there may be some kind of new connection, new partnership in the space. Saturn is going to ask you for commitment and accountability in that. In other words, you can't just have sort of a fling with anybody right now, Leo rising. If you do, you're going to face consequences with it. Neptune is also going to dissolve illusions and reveal the spiritual dimension of the partnership. So a little bit more revealing with Neptune and with Leo rising than with Cancer rising. Cancer rising is just kind of uncovering things right now. You, Leo rising, will feel relationships way more clearly now. You're going to see them as they really are. Some bonds are going to deepen because of this awareness, and some will reveal where there's fantasy, okay? But this moment invites your relationships that are both loving and honest, and the goal is not perfection, but truth. So there you have it, guys. Those are your rising signs. I'll try to add some timestamps a little bit later once this video is finished processing. And I noticed I did not put the link to the chart calculator in here. So I will also put that in the description once the video is finished processing. So how did that resonate for you guys? Do you guys like the real sky? Do you feel like that should be more Aries energy, or did I read it right with Pisces? I feel that feels pretty resonant, pretty truthful. So good. Oh, this is great. I'm happy to hear that for you, Brian. That's so good. Yeah, I know you're feeling it too, Christine. It's a lot. I mean, we are getting blessed with all kinds of amazing energy for the 10th house. Life is absolutely magical. Yeah, Libra loves Venus. Actually, I disagree with you, respectfully, of course. I feel like when Venus is transiting through Libra, it's a hard time. It doesn't feel good. And I can't prove that to you until Venus moves through Libra again, which will be after October, because she's got to do a whole 3-month retrograde through Virgo. But the next time she does, I will prove that to you, that Libra is actually quite tough for Venus when she's transiting through it. However, a Libra natal Venus is awesome. You guys are so cool, so chill, so loving. But oh man, because so I look at Libra not as the scales of balance and harmony and diplomacy. I see it as the tunnel to the underworld. So you have to like literally weigh your own heart against the feather. You have to let go of attachments. You have to realign yourself by releasing. And in order to maintain a place of high perspective and being able to see both sides and being balanced, you can't be mired down by beliefs or attachments. You can't. And the problem with Venus transit is that she's always got some kind of passion. And so you can't tip the scales one way or the other as a Venus transiting through Libra. You have to kind of walk this very narrow line. You have to make sure you're not deviating and just sort of survive the transit through Libra. Once you get to Scorpio, then it's on. Then you can release and go wild. But that Libra energy is tough. But that's why I disagree. That's amazing. I'm just looking through your comments, guys, see if there's any questions. Looks like you guys are just chatting. I like that. Venus is getting a mystical taskmaster sandwich. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Like there were a couple of weeks there where like every time I turned around, it was like I was answering a question or responding to an email or running up and down the stairs at the hospital, babies flying out everywhere. But I love it. Oh, I love ancestral healing. This is so good. It's hard to actually take that first step and do that, but once you do it, it's profound and you get results and it's easy. It gets easier. Good, good. All right, I think I got to the spot where we left off. Cool. All right, let me see if... Oh, no, I missed some of these. Let's see. Okay, good. Yeah, let me go to the end, make sure there's nothing. Okay, perfect. Good. All right. Well, my friends, that's everything I wanted to present. Hopefully those readings are helpful for you. Venus won't be with the sandwiches today. So she's between Neptune and Saturn, literally just kind of sitting there hanging out with those two planets. But in another day or two, she'll be on her way to Chiron. Towards the end of the month, Venus will be conjunct Chiron. And I want you all to be ready for these next two lunations. It is not a joke. So the first new moon is right conjunct Saturn and Neptune. So once that beautiful Venusian energy leaves, we're getting sun and moon there. Okay, so it's the inner and outer self. All forms of expression for Saturn and Neptune are wide open and available. And even the foul use of magic, saying that it's in Aries. So when these tropical astrologers tell you they think war is coming, it very well might, because we're manifesting it, because we think it's in Aries. Can you change reality by using the real sky? I think you can. I think if more of us did this, if more of us just looked up a little bit, just tested it out, see if these energies resonate with you on a soul level, and went with it. And I think it's already happening. I really do. I don't think there's an appetite for war the way we do it nowadays. Like before, it used to, they used to do propaganda and people would get all excited about one side or the other. And now we're all realizing that it's all the same. Like that side and that side, they're the same side. And the loosh I spend on thinking about either one of your sides doesn't benefit me in any way, shape, or form. So you don't get to have it. So anyway, that's just my personal opinion. I'm paying attention to keep, myself aligned and aware, but I'm not reacting to it. I don't have to, because it doesn't really affect me. I mean, if I'm being honest, if I'm being authentic, that war is not affecting me. Will it someday? Should I pay more attention? Maybe. I mean, I guess that's a matter of opinion. But I remember very distinctly that there were people during the pandemic who traveled the world without a vaccine or any problems because they didn't buy into it, because they didn't give their loosh to it. They could walk into stores and other places without their mask and nobody would say anything to them. It didn't matter where they were. They just did those things. And yet there were people that got like murdered because they were speaking the truth about it. So it's almost as if we maintain neutrality about these things that happen, just the neutral part. Like, yeah, okay, I see that it's happening. Great. That's happening. But you don't get engaged with it. You don't like give your heart or your loosh or your energy to it. Then it's just something that exists and it's over there. And it doesn't have to be a part of your inner world. So that's how I really recommend y'all move through this next lunation. I'm calling it the Magician's Moon. It starts on March 18th. We're still finishing the Alchemist Moon. So, we're feeling the chaos. We're seeing the chaos around us. This is a great opportunity to stay high vibe, to stay in that place of emotional neutrality, and imagine a better future, because we can do this. If we all do this, we can make this happen. So I encourage you guys to do all of that. So when we have Sun and Moon on this Saturn and Neptune, the planet Chiron, or the asteroid Chiron, will not be aspecting anything on the new moon. But the Sun and the Moon will be meeting up with Chiron on the next new moon in April. So April 17th, I want to say. And that I'm calling the Adept's Moon. And it was really funny how I came to this energy, because I was analyzing the astrology and I realized I was a month ahead of myself. And I said, well, wait a minute. That's Mercury retrograde, probably source saying you need to understand this month so that you can understand the month before it. Okay, so literally that is the theme. These next 2 months, we have we're currently in the Alchemist Moon, we have the Magician's Moon, and then it's the Adept's Moon. So if you're following this astrology, if you're following my live streams, if you're going with the readings that I'm giving you, I'm trying to guide you into a place of empowered creatorship. And not sort of woeful succumbing to the chaos and the emotional energy around it. That's what I'm trying to do this spring for you guys. So hopefully that'll work. I really appreciate each and every one of you being here. I wanted to read off all the new channel members, but I'm going to do that on the next live stream when I'm actually in my office at the house. So we'll do that. We'll have a special toast and appreciation moment for all of you new channel members on that live stream. And then channel members should also already have the new moon video by your rising sign. It's a long one, guys. It's like an hour and a half, and I don't spend a lot of time teaching any concepts. It's just the astrology. So it should be very powerful and hopefully help you out. Do you guys want to hear the new song as the outro, The Physician of the Stars? Oh, real quick, before I do sign out, if anybody wants to work with me or knows somebody that knows how to edit videos, work with social media, I am in a position to bring somebody into my team that I can pay on a part-time basis. Some of you have reached out to me, and I appreciate you so much. I'm going to consider everyone's emails over the next couple of days, but I want to see if anybody wants to jump in there. You can email me at drdanny@drdanny.com. You can private message me on Facebook or Twitter, but let me know because I'm looking for someone that can help me edit those long form videos, make beautiful shorts, and I want to make it a position that's part of the, real sky astrology, what we're building here. For me, for my energy, the way my Jupiter and my Venus are set up, the more I circulate money, the more money comes in, the more people come in, the more I attract things, the more I can build things. And so this is something we have to do. We have to hire people. We have to bring people in. We have to invest the money that we've earned through the channel and through the readings and through the stellar foundations to build and to make something bigger and to reach more people. And so I think that the more people we can reach, the more people that we can help. So definitely reach out to me if you're interested in that. Like I said, I'm going to consider everyone. I really want someone with experience. I want someone that knows astrology. I want someone that's committed to the vision. I can't pay you a ton of money, but at least not right now, not until we get big. But I definitely need somebody that will help me moving forward so that we can expand the practice. Okay. All right, my loves, it's been such a pleasure being with all of you. Your energy is so beautiful and so bright, and I appreciate each and every one of you for being here, for supporting the channel with a thumbs up or a subscription or just sharing the channel. Really appreciate you guys so very much. So I will play the new music video for you guys, and we will call it a day.
She reads the body like a weathered map. Knows where the fault lines they can crack. Hands steady, eyes on fire. Delivers life, then climbs still higher. By daylight she is science and bone. By night she listens to the unknown. She doesn't borrow truth from borrowed name. She watches planets burn their own arcane flame. She is the physician of stars, with her feet in the water and her soul on Mars. Counting cycles, breaking scars. Midwife for worlds, wherever you are. She doesn't follow the clock or the crowd. She listens to the sky and she listens out loud. Yeah. Braided hair catching solar wind. Ice blue eyes that see through skin. She doesn't ask permission to know. She lets the real constellation show. 13 pathways, one long arc. She walks the edge between dark and spark. She's not afraid of the void or flame. She knows rebirth never comes the same. She is the physician of stars. She knows rebirth never comes the same. She is the physician of stars, with blood and myth in perfect accord. Holding heaven inside her scars, writing medicine straight into the cord. She doesn't pray to the older skies. She reads the truth written in the sky. She loves the ocean and the thrill of speed. Wind in her hair, no need to plead. Fire in the lungs, lightning in hips. Truth on her tongue, no practice slips. She cannot lie, she cannot fold. She was born remembering what others forgot to be told. She is the physician of stars, delivering futures with steady hands, breaking cages, bending bars, teaching time how to understand. She doesn't dim, she doesn't wait. She opens gates that others call fate. And when the sky forgets its name, she'll still be here.